Hi, I'm Sharon Delarose, and this is about a bizarre disease that I had never heard of before. If I didn't know better, I would think that this was a conspiracy theory, but I know that it's not possible that it could be. I mean, I don't think anybody, no matter how, I don't think the deep state, I don't think anybody could have possibly orchestrated what happened to me. But I had made a couple of YouTube videos, both relating to the fairies of Ireland. I think one was technology of the fairies of Ireland. The other one was altered history of the fairies of Ireland. I've got 14 books out in the series so far, and I'm working on 15. But I had the two YouTube videos, and I had done maybe 3 or 4 interviews that are floating out there with the different people as well. And I was gearing up to do a whole bunch more interviews. I had several lined up when we were traveling out west, and we were staying in Colorado, and we had visited, some of the state and federal parks out there. And I came down with what I thought was a urinary tract infection. And I went to the doctor, and they didn't find any evidence of an infection, but he treated me anyway with antibiotics and didn't clear it up. And for the next year, I had all the symptoms of a urinary tract infection, which means that you've got intense burning and urgency, and you're running to the bathroom every, 5 minutes. And that makes it really, really hard to sit down and do an interview or a recording. And at the time, I didn't think anything of it except that, okay, these doctors, they're not treating me right. They got the wrong antibiotic, or I'm not on it long enough, or whatever. And it took a year and several different, doctors. I went to regular doctors. I went to a gynecologist. I finally ended up at a urologist, and he did a, periscope up the pee hole and diagnosed it as something I had never heard of before called interstitial cystitis. It is identical in symptoms to having a urinary tract infection, but they don't find bacteria in your urine, and they don't find it in the biopsy. So it is considered, they don't know what causes it. There is no cure for it, and the treatment is different for everybody. There isn't like a treatment. You manage it for the rest of your life, basically. You manage it. And they think it might be autoimmune. They're not really sure. There are some doctors who think it's like an embedded bacteria that's kind of hidden behind a film. There's different theories. So I had that for a year. I'm just getting ready to try to do these interviews, and that kind of put a stop to it because there was no way to sit for an interview at that time. So I'm starting to get that under control. I, find a doctor and get on some meds that seem to be working. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's time to start, getting back on the interview circuit when I got hit with another bizarre disease. And oh my God, this one's really, really crazy. I It was triggered by dental work. Now, as you can see, I have teeth missing down here. I had a bridge, a permanent bridge. I lost a tooth when I was I think it was back in the mid 80s. I got in a car accident and I lost a tooth. And the dentist put in what's known as a Maryland bridge. And it's a little bit different than your traditional bridge. Instead of drilling your teeth down to pegs and putting a bridge this way, it cemented onto the back of the surrounding teeth. And so they did that. And that bridge was like a Sherman tank. It lasted for over 30 years. I could eat, I could chew, I could bite, but eventually 35 years, I don't recall exactly, but eventually it bit the dust and it had to be replaced. So I went into a dentist, and he replaced it with another Maryland bridge. Now, the new Maryland bridge, it was not built like a Sherman tank. The original, it was metal. The part that, cemented to my teeth, the base of it was metal. The new one was some sort of a plastic type material, resin. I don't know exactly, not resin, but something plasticky. And, he cemented it to the back and it looked perfect and it felt perfect. I babied it though. After the one broke, it's like, and this new one just didn't seem as sturdy. So I did not bite into anything. I started using a knife and fork, even for a sandwich, a hot dog, hamburger, anything. I ate with a knife and fork. I did not want to put any pressure on it. Even with me babying it, it only lasted for 4 years and it broke. Uh, one of the tabs on the side that was cemented to my teeth, it broke. The tooth that was, the hole, that was still there. And the other side was still cemented, but it broke. So I went in about a year later. No, I went in about a year later to get that replaced. And the dentist I went to said, well, the tooth next to the missing tooth, he said, that tooth needs to go. And even though it wasn't bothering me, I believed him because the gum line had gone way, way, way down. It's like, okay, he said, I can't make you a new bridge. And, you've got to get that tooth out and they're going to have to wait, for at least 4 months for it to heal before I can make you a new bridge. And it's like, okay. And, so he removed the rest of the broken bridge and he pulled that tooth and we were traveling, so there was no way to immediately get a new bridge in 4 months. Now, here, now, and during this time, now I've got missing teeth on the bottom. And the last thing you really want to do is get out in front of people and do videos and interviews, and you got missing front teeth. Just, a little hokey and embarrassing. So it's like, okay, well, I'm going to wait until I get this new bridge and so forth. So finally, I go in and it's about a year. It's right about the time that I'm getting the interstitial cystitis under control is when the new bridge started. And I went to the dentist and he, fitted me with a, new bridge. He put a temporary in and I went in to get the permanent. He took the temporary and something went wrong. I reacted to that bridge. All of a sudden, my bottom lip on the inside, right where the bridge was, got these like swellings, almost like blisters, but they didn't hurt, but it was like two puffy pillow like blistery things. And and then one of the anchor teeth started hurting, and I ended up going back to the dentist, and he said, "You need to see the endodontist, a root canal specialist." So I went to him, and he said, "Yep, you need a root canal. One of the anchor teeth didn't do well," and so he did a root canal. And at that point, my entire mouth went nuclear. Whatever had started on the inside, right up against that bridge, it just spread until the entire inside of my mouth was like a giant blister with somebody pouring alcohol on it. I mean, the pain was so intense. I could not eat solid food. I couldn't even eat yogurt or pudding or anything like that. Ended up on a pure liquid diet. I couldn't brush, I couldn't floss, I couldn't rinse. Toothpaste burned. Regular toothpaste burned like battery acid. Mouthwash burned. It was like, oh my God, what is this? And I'm going to the dentist, and the dentist says, well, this isn't dental, this is medical. And I'm thinking, well, it started with dental, so it's dental. But he's, saying, no, you need to see, a doctor. And I think he said I needed to see a ear, nose, and throat doctor. He said, because this is in your mouth, so that's related to your throat. So you need to see an ENT. And I went to an ENT, and he said, nope, this is not my ballpark. You need to see, some other special. And they started bouncing me around from, one to the other to the other. And had gone into urgent care twice. I was in so much pain. I couldn't talk. I couldn't eat. I couldn't brush. I couldn't do anything. And I'm, bouncing from one to the other until I finally end up in an oral surgeon. And they did a biopsy of the inside of my mouth. And they said, okay, I'd never heard of this before. They said, you've got oral lichen planus. And I'm like, what? Oral Lichen Planus. That's the name of it. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's, oral, mouth, lichen, almost like the fungus that grows on a rock, Lichen, planus, Planus. Um, and it's like, okay, well, how do we fix it? And they said, we don't. Just like the interstitial cystitis, they have no idea what causes it. There is no cure. There is no remedy that works for everybody to manage it, because that's what you do. Once you have it forever and you manage it. And they think that it might be autoimmune. That's the prevailing theory. Kind of like the interstitial cystitis, there is a secondary theory that maybe you have some sort of a bacteria that's hiding behind a film or something. Maybe it's even like ulcers used to be, stomach ulcers, where for years, you're told, don't eat this, don't eat that, and until finally one day they discovered that it was a bacteria, and then once they knew what it was, they started working to finding a way, and they found a cure for it. And all of us who have interstitial cystitis and all of us who have oral lichen planus hope that someday they find something like that and are able to cure it, because there is no cure right now, and you manage it. And what works for one doesn't work for the other. I have to use special toothpaste because regular toothpaste burns. I have to use special mouthwash because regular mouthwash burns. There's this long list of foods that I cannot eat because they burn. Um, but I've gotten to a place where it's comfortable. However, because I'm still very reactive, and it's still, all the way through my mouth, I can feel all the lesions in there, but they don't hurt anymore. I'm on some treatments that at least there's no pain, that are allowing me to, brush and floss and do all the things I need to do and eat and so forth. But in the meantime, the ability to go and get more dental work, which is what started it all, that's on hold. I am going to try at the end of the year to maybe get a removable appliance to fill in these four teeth. I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if I will react to it, because for some reason my body overreacted to the dental work I had. And everybody has a different trigger. Everybody who has this disease, some they had a virus and then that triggered it. Some took medications and then that triggered it. For everybody, the trigger seems to be different. There doesn't seem to be a singular, like trigger for it. And it's very embarrassing. I wasn't even going to come out, and I just uh, earlier today did a video for you guys telling some ghost stories, personal ghost stories. And I did one other interview, I think a month or two ago, but it's hard to get out there when you're a public person, when you're, in the, spotlight, and you want to give interviews and you want to do videos, and but you're missing four front teeth. That's extremely embarrassing. I mean, you feel, like everybody's going to be laser focused on, oh my God, well, she's out there saying, why don't she get her teeth fixed? That's what started it all. I had a broken bridge and I went in to get my teeth fixed, and that's what started it all. And I've been battling that for about a year now. This is August. This is August 2024. It started in August 2023. And the interstitial cystitis started in August 2022. So for exactly 2 years now, I have been dealing with these bizarre autoimmune diseases, or whatever they are. Um, but I have decided that teeth be damned, missing teeth be damned, and diseases be damned. I think it really is time that I come, back on the circuit, and hopefully you all will be a little forgiving and understand that there's not a lot I can do about it at this moment in time. But I really, really feel like I need to talk to you guys and bring some of this other information out to you. So here I am, and that's my story. And for all of the people who have interstitial cystitis and lichen planus of any nature, because there's several varieties. I have the one that's in the mouth, but they have ones that are on the skin. Oh my God, that's just horrible that people get, all over their skin. And some people get it on their scalp, and some people get it in other places. It's These are really, really wicked diseases. And to all of you who are suffering, my heart, oh my God, my heart is totally with you, because it's brutal. So, maybe me recording this for all the world to see, and, laying my issue out there for all the world to see, maybe it'll help somebody in some way. Um, all we can do is hope, and all we can do is pray that someday out there, some doctor will figure something out and find an actual cure. And in the meantime, I'm Sharon Delarose. I'm the author of a um, series of extraterrestrial nonfiction books, Ancient Aliens and Nordic Aliens. Not just ancient, but the ancient Nordic aliens that were here, proving that they're the same as the Nordics that are here today. So they've been with us for thousands of years, these same entities, and have, shown side by side that they're what they're doing today is the same as what they were doing thousands of years ago. And it's kind of interesting to me, because we act like we don't know the extraterrestrials flying the skies. We act like we don't know anything about them. We don't know why they're here. What are they doing? We're freaking out, panicking. But we knew, our ancestors knew, at least the one species, the Nordic alien species, our ancestors knew them, intimately. There are hundreds, at least hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, I don't know, thousands maybe, of, you know, ancient history books and religious books and holy books, and not just the Bible and the Hindu holy, all, different books out there, um, that each one has little bits and pieces. Native American legends have little bits and pieces of what is all one big story. And I've gone out and grabbed a whole bunch of these pieces and put them together in a cohesive whole, to try to bring some of this to you. Um, I believe I'm the one who, I think I may be the one who broke the um, story that the fairies of Ireland, people were calling it. When I first started publishing on this particular topic, which was several years before the fairies of Ireland itself, people were calling them little invisible people. And I broke the story, or at least one of the first people who broke the story, that they were actually flesh and blood, physical Nordic aliens that towered over humans. They lived on Earth among us as kings and queens. They mentored us. They were benevolent. They were, 7, 8, 9 feet tall. Anyway, if you're into any of that, the I've written extensively about it. Fairies of Ireland is 512 pages in paperback, and the bibliography, everything is sourced. The bibliography is 25 pages long, showing, who all of the source material, everywhere that this came from. And I've got thousands of sources. This is not just, grabbing one book and bringing it out to you. This is deeply, deeply, intensely researched. So if you're into any of that, just, check it out. And in the meantime, Godspeed to all of you who are suffering from these bizarre ailments, these and many others. I know there's a lot of bizarre ailments out there that people are battling, and my heart goes out to all of you. So thank you for listening, and Godspeed to you all. This is Sharon Delarose.